Today we've got breaking news as Ilia Topuria storms to the top of the UFC pound-for-pound rankings with a jaw-dropping knockout of Charles Oliveira. Plus, bantamweight champ Merab Dvalishvili reveals some sparring secrets. Khamzat's former teammate picks a dark horse for UFC 319, and the latest on the highly anticipated, but currently off the table, Islam Makhachev superfight. Let's dive in. Ilia Topuria just made history, and did it in terrifying fashion. At UFC 317, El Matador stepped into the octagon against Charles Oliveira for the lightweight title and walked out not only with the gold, but with the title of #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC. And he earned it the hard way, by knocking out a former champ cold in just 2.5 minutes. One massive right hand was all it took. Oliveira hit the canvas unconscious, and the referee waved it off immediately. That KO wasn't just a statement, it was a shockwave across the sport. With that win, Topuria leapfrogged names like Islam Makhachev and Merab Dvalishvili to take the top spot in the pound-for-pound rankings. And honestly, you can't argue it. That level of dominance is rare. Of course, if Islam Makhachev manages to dominate Jack Della Maddalena and capture the welterweight strap, he could easily reclaim that #1 spot. But for now, Topuria sits at the top of the mountain. Speaking of pound-for-pound, current bantamweight champ Merab Dvalishvili had a revealing moment on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. Merab shared that Topuria actually dropped him twice during sparring, and both times from brutal body shots. Here's what he said: "I can't spar with him anymore. He just hits too hard. He dropped me twice with body shots. Thank God my head's fine. Every time sparring ended, I was just thankful it was over. He's that good." Merab also praised Ilia's fight IQ and structure, calling him very organized and always improving. That kind of respect from a fellow champion speaks volumes. Over in the middleweight division, Khamzat Chimaev is gearing up to fight Dricus Du Plessis for the title at UFC 319. But one of his former teammates, Caio Borralho, doesn't like his chances. Caio and Khamzat have had bad blood for years. Footage even surfaced years ago showing Khamzat submitting Caio in training, though we all know training clips don't tell the whole story. Despite that, tensions rose and there was serious talk of a fight before Khamzat got paired with DDP. Now Caio says he's backing Du Plessis in the title bout. And here's why. It's hard to bet against Dricus. I've picked against him so many times, and he keeps proving me wrong. If Khamzat doesn't finish it early, things start leaning toward DDP. Caio praised Dricus's relentless style and heart, saying that even when he's exhausted, he never stops pressuring. But he also warned if you make a mistake against Dricus, he capitalizes instantly. After knocking out Oliveira, Ilia sat down with Spanish media and revealed what's next. He said UFC President Dana White personally shut down the idea of him moving up to welterweight to fight Islam Makhachev, at least for now. After my talks with the UFC, it's clear they're not considering Islam as my next opponent. That fight's off the table unless something big changes. Topuria still hinted at wanting that third belt, saying post-fight that there's room for one more on his shoulders, a clear nod to his interest in becoming a 3-division champ. But unless Islam drops back down after fighting JDM, that matchup isn't happening. In the meantime, Ilia had plenty to say about 2 other names, Paddy Pimblett and Arman Tsarukyan. Topuria said both are ducking him, calling out Paddy for being all talk, and Arman for always having mysterious back issues whenever he's close to a fight. Arman looked shook when I knocked out Oliveira. He made weight as a backup, but deep down you could see he didn't want that call. Ilia claims if the UFC wants it, and if Paddy agrees, that fight could easily be made before the end of the year. The fans want it. The ball's in Paddy's court now. Even UFC commentators Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier are disappointed that the Topuria vs Makhachev superfight didn't happen. During the UFC 317 broadcast, Rogan said Islam was the fight to make. He joked that if he were matchmaker, he'd have called both fighters immediately and made it happen. It's clear Rogan thinks the UFC let a dream fight slip away. The UFC's International Fight Week might be winding down, but the fight announcements are still coming in hot. Let's take a look at the latest matchups just confirmed across a few major events. A new bantamweight clash has been added to the stacked Abu Dhabi card on July 26. Davy Grant is set to return to the octagon to face Damon Blackshear in what promises to be a high-energy scrap. Grant is coming off a strong performance against Raoni Barcelos, while Blackshear is riding an impressive 3-fight win streak, most recently picking up a W over Alateng Haile this past April. Expect fireworks when these two meet. 2 new fights are official for UFC Fight Night in Paris this September. Shauna Bannon will take on Sam Hughes in a strawweight bout. Bannon is looking to keep her momentum going after back-to-back wins, including a recent submission victory over Pooja Tamar. Hughes, on the other hand, has also strung together 2 straight wins, her latest coming against Stephanie Luciano, and will be looking to derail Bannon's streak on her home turf. Meanwhile, Umar Sy will face Brenson Ribeiro in a light heavyweight showdown. Sy will be aiming to bounce back after a tough loss to Alonzo Menefield, while Ribeiro also enters the fight looking for redemption following a first-round knockout defeat at the hands of Azamat Murzakanov. Both fighters are hungry, and this one could be a slugfest. And in the welterweight division, things are heating up again between Belal Muhammad and former champ Kamaru Usman. During a recent interview, Belal revisited a rumored confrontation with Usman on the set of Pound for Pound, claiming the situation left Usman visibly emotional. We're the biggest names in the division right now. If the UFC wants a clear no one contender fight, this is it, Belal said. Usman had previously brushed off the idea of fighting Belal after defeating Joaquin Buckley, but given the tension and the growing fan interest, this grudge match might just be too good for the UFC to pass up. Jiri Prochazka has officially fired back at Magomed Ankalaev. This all started back in May when Ankalaev, or possibly someone managing his account, took shots at both Alex Pereira and Jiri, accusing them of ducking him. He went as far as calling Prochazka a fake ninja and claimed he needed to go back to school because he can't read. Now that Jiri's done with his studies and focused fully on fighting again, he's not letting those words slide. On Sunday, Ankalaev posted another jab, mocking Alex by saying, "Breaking news, Alex wants to fight me during Ramadan again, and I need more time. And that other clown, Jiri, still needs to do his homework. Let me fight Carlos. He's more dangerous than both." That didn't sit well with Prochazka, who fired back with a post of his own. "Hey clown, I finished university. Like you finished elementary school, I hope. If you don't want me as your teacher now, I'll gladly fight Carlos next." That's it for today's UFC updates. With Ilia Topuria cementing his place at the top, fresh fight announcements heating up Abu Dhabi and Paris, and some serious drama brewing in the welterweight division. Who do you want to see Ilia face next? Drop your predictions in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a fight update here at House of MMA. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.